Let us solve a question on change in consumer surplus. This question was asked by a brother on a WhatsApp group. The question is like this. In a country, cigarettes are forbidden, so people trade cigarettes in black market. Okay. The cigarette demand is being given by QD is equal to 12 minus P. P denotes the price, Q denotes the quantity demanded of the cigarettes. And supply is being given as QS is equal to 2P. Okay. So people trade this very stuff in the black market. The government becomes aware of the black market and reinforces police so that half of the cigarette supply would be seized and destroyed. Okay, so the police comes into an action and destroys the half of the cigarette supply. How does the consumer surplus change between the two situations? We have to find the out the change in consumer surplus before government interferes in this case, and after the government interferes in this case. Okay, so what we are being given, let us try to see. We are being given the quantity demanded of the cigarettes is equal to 12 minus P. Okay, this is constant, this will not change. Also we are being told quantity supplied is equal to, let me write it here, quantity supplied is equal to 2P. Okay, 2P. This is the quantity demanded, this is the quantity supplied. Okay, so this is the case before the supply is being destroyed by half. Okay, so before we try to solve the question, so let us draw the graph also and let us see what are the options. We are being told that the consumer surplus will remain same, decrease by 10 units, decrease by 14 units, or decrease by 8 units. Okay, so we will see the first scenario when there is no change in the supply. Okay, so when police does not seize the cigarette supply by half. Okay, so what will be our equilibrium price and quantity, and of course the consumer surplus. Let us draw the graph here. On this horizontal axis we have the quantity of cigarettes and this denotes the price. Okay, so this is our demand function. Okay, the intercept is here 12. That means when P is equal to 0, sorry, when Q is equal to 0, P will be 12, so the intercept will be here 12. Okay, so we only need one intercept here. So this is the demand function for the cigarettes. Okay, and also our, let me write it here. So here we have 12 as price. Okay, you can easily check how did I got this very 12. So when quantity Q is equal to 0, P will be equal to 12, and when I transpose minus P here, it will become 12. Okay, so no worry at all. Okay, so I hope you are the very capable person. Now quantity supplied is 2P. Okay, so we don't have any intercept here, it will go straight through the origin. So let's draw with another color. So quantity supplied obviously will be, this is our quantity supplied, quantity supply, let me write it here, supply, supply. Now we need to find out the equilibrium price and quantity. So the intersection of demand and supply curves will give us the equilibrium price and quantity. Okay, so at equilibrium, I will not write it here. Quantity demanded will be equal to quantity supplied, implies 12 minus P should be equal to 2P. Okay, now if I transpose this minus P here, it will become plus 2P. So 2P plus P is equal to 3P is equal to 12. That means our P will be equal to, if I transpose, it will get divided, so 12 upon 3 is equal to 4. Okay, it's 4. Okay, 3 ones are 3, 4 are 12. So our equilibrium price, initial equilibrium price will be 4. Corresponding to this price of 4, what will be quantity demanded? So quantity demanded or supplied will be equal to 12 minus P. So we have 12 minus the equilibrium price which we got here 4. So that means quantity demanded will be equal to bahane the old before police comes into action. So this is our quantity demanded, which is equal to 8. Now what is the consumer surplus in this case? So by consumer surplus, what you mean? It simply shows us the difference between the price a consumer pays, okay, and the price he would be willing to pay. Okay, if the consumer is you know if the consumer is paying a price of 4, that means he would have been willing to price a a price of 12 or 10, 7, 6, 5. Okay, so this denotes our consumer surplus, and consumer surplus is nothing, it is the area which is above the equilibrium price in this case and below the demand curve. And how do we calculate it? Simple thing, we have to calculate the area of this very triangle. So our consumer surplus will be equal to, so let me write it here, consumer surplus will be equal to the area of this very triangle. So this is area of a triangle is 1/2 of, since it is right angle triangle, base. What is base? Base is this. Okay, so we have from 0 to 8, so the base will be equal to 8 into what is the height. So we have 4 here, 12 here, so 12 minus 4 is 8. Okay, so this comes out to be 2 ones are 2, 4s are 8, which comes out to be 4 8s are 32. Okay, so we got here consumer surplus is equal to 32. Okay, this is the first scenario. Now we are being told the government becomes aware of the black market and reinforces police so that half of the cigarette supply would be seized and destroyed. And we know how this stuff works. How does the consumer surplus change between the two situations? Now we need to find out the supply function when the police destroys and seizes half of the cigarette supply. Okay, so new supply curve will be, in the new situation, new supply curve will be equal to, so initially our supply curve was 2p, since government destroys half of the supply, so if this is our supply, it is half is 1 upon 2 into 2p. Okay, so this gets cancelled, so quantity supplied new will be equal to only p. So new quantity supplied is equal to p. Let me write it here, q n is equal to p. So what will be our new supply curve? It will look like this. Okay, its intercept is same but slope will be steep. Okay, let me write here new supply function. Now equilibrium requires that demand and new supply curve should intersect. So at equilibrium, at new equilibrium, okay, quantity demanded should be equal to quantity supplied, that is new quantity supplied. Okay, what is quantity demanded? That is 12 minus p. And what is new quantity supplied? That is p. So p taron your equals 2p is equal to 12, which implies p is equal to 12 upon 2, which comes out to be 6. Okay, after the police, which has done the great work in this case, so the new equilibrium price will be equal to 6. Okay, let me draw it here. So price will increase obviously when supply is less this time and demand is more, so price will automatically increase. Now corresponding to this, what will be our new equilibrium quantity? So our new equilibrium quantity will be, so this is our quantity demanded, so just plug p is equal to 6 here, so we have 12 minus p, so we can also put it here, so nothing to be offended here. So 12 minus p is 12 minus 6, that means new quantity demanded will be bahanishat share, and obviously new quantity supplied is 6. So this is our new quantities, at equilibrium and new price at equilibrium. So let me draw it here like this. So we have 6 here. Okay, now what will be new consumer surplus? Consumer surplus new, So here you can see what is the consumer surplus. This is our equilibrium price. I have told you consumer surplus is simply the area which is above the equilibrium price and below the demand curve. Okay, so this value triangle, let me write it here. This varies triangle, so what is its area? 1/2 of what is base this time? This is 6. Okay, 6 into what is height of this? So 12 minus 6 is obviously 6. This comes out to be 2 1s are 2 3s are 3 6s are 18. Okay, so this is our new consumer surplus. Okay, now what is change in consumer surplus? Change in consumer surplus is our old consumer surplus, that is consumer surplus. Okay, I have denoted by CS minus new CS, that is CS new. And old we have the consumer surplus of 32. Now we have only 18. So daitrahan walu arda वो बहाने होत चोर दोने आक्त. So our consumer surplus will obviously decrease by 14 units. Okay, so initially what was our consumer surplus? So initially let me show it here. So initially our consumer surplus was uh, this whole triangle. Okay, this was initially our consumer surplus. After the government comes into action, our consumer surplus has reached to this triangle. Okay, so there is decrease in the consumer surplus. Okay, I hope I make myself clear in this video. Thank you. For more videos on mathematical economics, please subscribe this channel, like, comment and share also. Thank you.